Here, I want to mention several other essential tools that you might want to learn when you work with a remote HPC cluster. First is version control systems. So here I have Git and Mercurial listed, but it's really Git which is by far the most dominant one nowadays. So a version control system lets you collaborate with other people, have a history of a project in a database, and you can always revert back to a previous version of a project. And especially Git is useful when you work on a large project with other people. And that way, both of you can actually contribute to the same project, and Git will try to automate versioning as much as possible. And then when it cannot merge different versions together, then it will ask you what to do. But essentially, it's a really great automation tool for version control. Terminal multiplexer is another tool that you might end up using quite a lot. And what it is it lets you have a virtual persistent terminal session. So when you log into a remote system, and let's say your internet connection gets killed, or your laptop just decides to reboot, etc., so your connection drops, then your remote session will be killed. So a terminal multiplexer is a virtual screen that will not disappear when your connection drops. Screen is an earlier version of multiplexer. Tmax is a more recent and more feature-rich version. Let me show you what Tmax can do. So here I will log into the Andromeda cluster, and I will start Tmax. So now I'm inside this virtual terminal, and let me actually split it into two halves. So I'm going to have an upper half and a lower half. In the lower half, I'm going to say nano. I'm going to open nano, and then I'm going to type something here, starting a project. And then let me go to the other one, the other panel, and here let me type ls-l, and then I will disconnect from this terminal by pressing Ctrl B D to disconnect, and then I will log out from Cassiopeia entirely. Okay, so I can even close my laptop now, reboot it, etc. And next time I log into Cassiopeia, I will have these. So I have an alias called Tmax list that stands for Tmax list sessions, and if I run it, it will actually tell me there is a session currently running. And then what I can say is Tmax attach, and this will attach back to the currently running session. So you can actually see that all my workflow is there, and those virtual screens, they have not disappeared. And this is really useful when you want to do something that takes a while. For example, if you compile a code and it takes several hours to compile it, which is not unusual for very large projects, then you can actually start compilation here and then hit enter. And while the compilation is running, you can disconnect from the virtual session. You can power off your laptop, and the next time you connect, you can reconnect to the same virtual Tmax session. And then if I want to kill the session, well, I'll just kill these terminals. So save, no, I don't want to save it, Control D, and now I just killed the virtual Tmax session. I already talked about VNC and X2Go. These are remote desktop packages, and we support both in Compute Canada. Go to docs.computecanada.ca and search for either VNC or X2Go, and you will find more information on how to use it with our systems. Client-server workflows, I already mentioned these. They are super useful if you want to run a client on your machine and then some remote server on a Compute Canada cluster. So this is especially useful for visualization. For example, ParaView and Visit visualization packages supported. With ParaView, you can run a client on your laptop, and you can have a parallel ParaView server running, let's say, inside a job on Cedar cluster. And you can organize the encrypted communication between your client and the ParaView server on Cedar. And then you have a large data set on Cedar. You will load this large data set using the server on Cedar. And you'll be sitting and working with the interactive ParaView client on your laptop. And you have full impression that you're actually working with the local data set because everything is very snappy and works great. But while you're interacting with the local client, on your laptop, all real computing will be done by the remote parallel ParaView server on Cedar cluster.